Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 19th of November. So looking at the euro dollar first, I'm looking at the composite price here for a reason I'll show you in a moment, but trend line, I've redrawn the trend line across the prior high here, and well, we're just below that at the moment. It looks like it's come and tested that trend line again this morning. There are other points of resistance around that sort of level depending on the studies you're looking at. Coming down the time frames, here's this 4-hourly well, which suggests higher lows, higher highs, and well, we've got a weekly pivot sort of sitting below us, which could become a target now, and obviously resistance in the shape of that 4-hourly 200 just above, which has been air kissed once already. So you can see more clearly on this 60-minute as expected on Friday. Now, as I say, composite price level, it did actually touch the daily pivot on here, came a little bit short on different individual feeds, but it did come down towards that daily pivot and then rallied off for the weekly, so got both targets on Friday. Will it do the same today? Well, if so, it needs to drop down quite a chunk. The daily pivot's pretty close below, which seems a reasonable target on the downside. If it reflects that later on, maybe the weekly, it's got possibilities back into sort of that prior high area around about 1350-ish. That could provide a nice bounce support area around there anyway, so if it does come around there, maybe a buy point. Looking at the highs at the moment, there is a bit of divergence when you come back to this 4-hourly, bit of divergence on the highs there, so a tad of weakness. If it breaks that 4-hourly 8, maybe that will be a signal for the weekly pivot to be caught, but we'll see how we run through this morning. But bigger picture I'll cover later more significantly on the weekly outlook, but you can see it put in quite a solid hammer there on the weeklies. So there is, as I say, there's a smell of bullishness in the air. Right. Pound dollar. Okay, what do we end up with on Thursday? We ended up at a hard sell-off day. Friday saw us put in a bullish harami sort of candle there, and the weekly pivot's just above at the moment, which I guess has got some half decent potential. Let's come down the time frames a little bit and look at this 60-minute, just sitting on the 60-minute daily pivot at the moment. 60-minute, the daily pivot on the 60-minute chart at the moment, even looking at potential rallies into the Friday's highs there then for the weekly pivot, and there's the R1 just above, so certainly got the potential for a bit of a continuation there. But this market, as ever, it's whipsawy. There's opportunities in it, and they can be quite big if you can catch the right side of things. But it can equally bite you either way. We saw it on Wednesday, it chopped all over the place. Thursday, well, okay, it just sold off, but Friday recovered somewhat. We'll see how it runs. It's Brexit is just so much in the front of things there. There's no significant news out today, I should add, and either the pound or the euro. So there's little to get kicking these markets at the moment. Okay, let's go down the markets here. Look at the dollar yen. Dollar yen, solid day south on Friday there, and it is a bit of a reoccurring theme through these markets so far in terms of a bit of softening of the US dollar overall. Where to today? Well, we're just sort of sitting here at the moment, hardly any movement. Where it sits, it's got the weekly pivot above us, which could be a draw, as is the daily. So a couple of targets to the upside there, very much like an inverted euro dollar at the moment, with a bit of divergence maybe sitting across the lows here. So again, potential for a bit of a retracement here, but starting to show all the signs of let's get right candle here of maybe a change of trend with lower highs, lower lows coming through on this market. So we'll see how it is. I'd like to, once again, looking at where that weekly pivot is. If you were looking for a short opportunity, it may fit quite well, and with the prior sort of resistance points and some moving averages coming in around that level. Okay, Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollars, as I've said for a while, it seems to be the slightly stronger of the pairings, and it okay, on Friday it ran up to its R2 there, shaking off any doubts about it really. Half decent move later in the day there, and the Friday afternoon picked up. Where to now? Well, it's potential. I just got to bring it down. It's sitting on a daily pivot. It's got potential to get back down towards its weekly. Really needs to see all these markets roll, and it'll probably want go with the flow really a little bit. But again, I would be looking for bounces maybe even before that weekly. But for now, it would be a target potentially. Okay, that's the Aussie and the Canadian dollar. The untradeable so often. Well, again, Friday brought it right the way down back towards its daily 21 there. Still short of the monthly pivot at the moment, the Canadian dollar, but it's struggled against the US dollar, and it's been mainly towards the upside. Held up solidly last week and then diverged, and it's tad softer at the moment, but we'll see. It's got the weekly pivot just above. It may be a target and a turning point on this. It's already caught the daily pivot, so may just be a bit of a draw. Why do I always talk about these pivots, by the way? It's because they've got a high probability of being hit, so that's why I'm often looking at them. Okay, so a bit of a diamond pattern here, a bit of a messy pattern on the Canadian dollar, but as I say, the weekly pivot's not that far ahead, so if it continues in this route, that well could be hit. I will just look at oil. Let's just have a look at the West Texas and what's happening there. $57. So it's holding down towards the lower scale of prices, not quite as low as it was earlier in the week there last week, but still holding down, but with a slight theme there of higher lows, higher highs. Okay, that's it for me. News-wise, as I say, there's nothing significant there at all that I can see. So we'll be looking for data for the rest of the week. Have a great one. Bye for now.